What's up, people? I'm following this Oregon case with the Bundys and, of course, the federal government. And, of course, I've been following the Black Lives Matter movement for the last year and a half. And, I see a lot of similarities. Of course, people have mentioned that there's similarities in the sense that when these militia, mainly Anglo men, took over this federal building, they were fully armed. And some have noted that if that would have been blacks and Latinos and minorities, or blacks in general, they would have gotten killed. And of course, today, President Obama issued an executive order. Sorry about that. Is issuing an executive order concerning federal background checks for internet purchases and buying from gun shows. But I want you to think about this, especially as someone who's of Afro descent. See, this is the problem that I have with the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, a lot of good things, a lot of accurate things that the movement brings up. It does a great job in exposing some of the ethnocentrism and racism and institutional problems that we have in America. I know, because I'm half West African and half Lebanese Armenian, but in the eyes of the average American, I'm just a black man. I'm just an African American man. Though I was born in West Africa and I'm not even an American citizen, I recognize here I'm just a black man. So I identify. But this is the problem. The movement does a great job exposing the problems, but it doesn't understand power. It still doesn't understand economic transformation. It still doesn't talk about the power of a family. It still doesn't talk about the power of self-reliance, entrepreneurialism. It doesn't talk about the application of education. People keep saying, "Oh, black people need to get educated." No, we don't. We need to be apprenticed. College does not make us great leaders, great businessmen, great innovators, great fathers. Mentorship, discipleship, apprenticeship, these relational ways of transferring information, correcting, rebuking, teaching black young men and women how to be humble. That's what makes us great. Not going to college, not sitting in the classroom and getting theory and a little bit of practicum and a little bit of internship. No, real life apprenticeship, discipleship, mentorship that is ongoing is what transforms. But again, notice how all these white men in the militia banded together. Notice their interviews, how calm they are and how they articulate their thoughts. Notice the fact that they have guns. They have guns. They make full use of their rights and privileges. And again, this is the exact opposite of what President Obama is trying to do right now. He's trying to make it harder for black men and women who are law-abiding citizens to have guns like these white men and women that we need to learn from. We need to learn from Asians. We need to learn from Jewish people. We need to learn from Anglos. We need to learn from Arabic, Middle Eastern people. Here in America, African Americans need to learn how to leverage power, how to leverage their rights, to work together in a way that brings systemic change. You see, what they're doing, it's creating more waves than the Black Lives Matter movement. Because you got these men who've occupied a federal building. It's almost a week now. And no federal agent, no police officer is running up on them. They're negotiating with them. They're discussing with them. Folks, this is so deep that a quick little video can't even do it justice. Man. Protesting on the streets. And think about this. The Black Lives Matter movement is saying police beat us up. Do you think police would beat black men up if they legally carried open guns like they are in Texas? Folks, the Democratic Party has been destroying the black community for the last 40, 50 years, since Roosevelt. When blacks left the Republican Party and they got bamboozled by Roosevelt, it's this type of welfare dependent thinking where right now we have a president that's trying to take away our guns. So what, we can be like Chicago? They got no gun-free zones everywhere, but people from the streets still got the guns, and they're going to continue to have the guns. Government can't regulate the black market. I mean, come on, man. Our own Justice Department sold guns to the Mexican cartel. The war on drugs, were we able to stop it? We couldn't stop drugs. You think they're going to be able to stop black market guns? This is ridiculous, man. Black people, we need to wake up, man. The Black Lives Matter does a great job exposing issues, but it does a terrible job understanding how to bring systemic change and leveraging power. Like, for example, getting our guns taken away when the very thing we keep crying about is that we keep getting punched, beat up, and and abused. Do you think any common sense thinking law enforcement is going to just suddenly roll up and start beating up good black men in black neighborhoods, fathers, pastors, business owners who are strapped, who have laws passed for open concealment, for open carrying guns? No, they're going to go up to them and speak to them respectfully. Hi, Mr. Johnson. Could you please talk to me about the robbery? I mean, because why? Because they're using their Second Amendment rights. And the purpose of the Second Amendment was ultimately to do what? It wasn't just to protect citizens from citizens. It was to protect citizens from rogue, evil law enforcement and government. Take note, Black Lives Matter. Learn. And to all my white friends and family, man, this is real. Some of the problems that the Black Lives Matter movement is talking about, it's real. It's in our churches, it's in our seminaries, it's in our colleges. We still are not understanding love. We're just like the Jewish people who didn't want to go to the Gentiles in the early church. They didn't want to go preach to the Gentiles. We have our ethnocentrism, we have our racism, and we're struggling to empower and to reach out and to create space at the table for people of different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. And really, all the answers, they're in the Word of God, and they're wrapped up in Jesus Christ. Peace.